Step number 1, cheesy scene. Step number 2, happy dance. Step number 3.
Just get to the point.
Right. You may wonder why we came here together. What is the occasion? I mean, my thumbnail probably gave it away. This is not the right spot. Clearly, we are in LA.
Is she moving to LA?
No, she isn't. Why would I? Just kidding. Guys, I can finally announce, and I wanted to announce it for so long. We have to say it together.
We are moving to New York! Woohoo!
I know what you want to ask. No, we are not giving our place in Paris away. Basically, we are going to be between Paris and New York. Paris, New York. Paris, New York. The best of both worlds. I know what you're thinking now. Why? So now I'm gonna explain to you what made us do this major life step. If you followed me for a long time, you know that I've always wanted to move to New York. It's always been a dream of mine. One of the reasons we moved to Paris was because we never lived in another country. So you know, Germany and New York would have been a bit extreme, so we said, okay, we do 2 years in Paris and then we go to New York. Now I've been in Paris for... It's my 4th year coming up. And don't get me wrong, I love Paris. I love Paris. But Paris, let's put it that way, living there is very different than visiting it. Let's go back to the start. We are in LA and I'm gonna explain everything to you because I know it might be super confusing. I always wanted to move to New York and then COVID happened, and also we really liked Paris, even though in my opinion it's very romanticized. I mean, I love romanticizing cities and life, but I think Paris in particular is very romanticized by the outside world. In my personal opinion, it's still the best city in Europe, but there's some things that are not like optimal, which is totally fine. Like, I'm not complaining. I love Paris. That's also why we're staying in Paris. I mean, we keep our apartment. The idea is that, you know, whenever I'm in New York, my friends can come and take my apartment in Paris, and then whenever I have to go to Paris for, let's say, fashion weeks or attire, you know, I will have my place. And also we are keeping our headquarters in Paris. So wait, we're keeping our attire headquarter in Paris. That's not gonna change. However, you know, it's not only my personal love for New York that makes me want to move to New York, but also the opportunities. My whole mindset is very American. I found an incredible team. But I think that in order for Taya to reach the goals that I plan, I need to enter the US market. In fact, the USA is our fastest growing market. There's a lot of potential. For example, we want to do pop-ups in New York. New York is going to be our first city to do pop-ups, which is so exciting. I also think there's a lot of talent out there. There's also a lot of talent in Paris. However, there's the language barrier. I think because we require somebody with like perfect English, it can be tricky. And also it's kind of hard to find people with like a similar mindset as me. And since my mindset is pretty American, I think there's a lot of talent that's like hungry in New York. You're the sky. Unreal. Anyway, and I think it's a very privileged position that I have right now. You know, I am able to be in both cities. I'm able to have apartments in both cities, and also I'm able to build a team in New York. So ideally the headquarters will stay in Paris, but the marketing department, which is like my focus in New York, it's really like marketing communication focused, will be in New York. Did I just say Paris or New York? I'm getting confused. And also, you know, I'm 30. We're not getting younger. I think at one point this is gonna be too exhausting. But when I was in New York in November and October, I had very major meetings with people who I admire business-wise, and I really want to focus on my entrepreneurial journey. You know, attire is and will be forever my number one. I mean, at the moment. I was exposed to potential opportunities that I want to take. And I think I can only get as far in Paris, but in New York, opportunities are endless. But also, who knows? It's also my gut feeling that's really like leading me. Like I said, I've always wanted to move to New York, and I always knew, like whenever I considered it, I always knew, okay, the timing is not right yet. So I took my sweet time, and now my gut feeling is really like telling me, like, when I get to New York and I'm so full of energy and love, and I'm just becoming my best self. You know, I talked about this on my stories. I'm like, oh my god, I'm giving everything away. I think a lot of you already knew this was coming. Why am I even doing this video? So, fun fact, the real estate market in New York is terrible. It's like the worst it's been in 10 years. That's what my real estate friends in New York told me. And the thing is that I was a bit desperate, you know, and then I was asking around, and then I had an opportunity for an apartment that's incredible. So the apartment is really nice, but the location is prime. It's like, whenever I tell New Yorkers, they're like, oh my god, it's like the best location. Because I was like, oh, it's on this street, and yeah, I'm not sure. And they're like, end of November, I already saw it, and I already knew we are taking it. What I didn't know is that a co-op in America is quite a big deal. I was like, gonna be easy, you know, they'll meet me, they're gonna like me. Basically what it means, because it's like an American thing in particular, it's in New York, I think my friends in LA didn't even know what it is. The entire house is meeting and consulting if you're allowed to rent there or not. And basically it's from like the time when it was like very, like a lot of artists, and they want to make sure like they stay within their like art community. End of November we already applied. I mean, we already agreed, and then we submitted all documents in December, which was mid-December. So I assumed that I'm gonna move in January 1st, right? And that's also the reason why we went so quickly back to New York, because I assumed that I could move in January 1st. And I didn't hear back, then we had a lot of back and forth with the documents and the submissions and da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, in the end, it was such a hustle, and I was like waiting.
2,000 years later.
And I get it, you know, it's the holidays, there were some things with our documents, and then I was in New York, and it was already like mid-January, and I was like, how long does this take? And then my friends told me that they waited 3 months to get an approval by their co-op. And at one point I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to LA. I want to see the sun. I want to see my friend. But then I had a gut feeling. I was like, maybe I will get the approval. You know, once you get the approval, you want to get things rolling. I want to see the apartment. I'm going to start over with the entire furniture. I want to hire like an interior designer who's going to help me. You know, I was like, this needs to be done because ordering things will take time, la-di-la-di-da. And then I didn't get a reply. So I came to LA, and guess what email I received? I was like, that irony. That irony. So now we're asking to move in February 1st. Can't wait to show you. I'm very excited about this life change. I mean, y'all probably saw it coming. Come on. I hope I answered all potential questions. Guys, it's so beautiful. I have to show you. Wow, wow, wow. What's your opinion on New York?
I love it.
You love it?
I'm so happy.
Because people are gonna say it's they're always like, oh, but what does Jürgen think?
No, I've also always wanted to go and to live there. It's like a big, I think for every European, New York has always been this big thing.
Yeah, you know,
So-
for me, New York, it really, like what I love the most is what it does to me. Because also New York, I know that New York has disadvantages. America has disadvantages. You're too tall. Come down.
No, that's not okay.
Okay, then we are not gonna sleep.
I can be here.
Yeah,
like
you go in the
films.
back. I like the energy is so special, and the person I become when I'm in New York, I love her. I love her, and I want to take her everywhere I go. I really think, like, or what I noticed, I've become a better human being in New York, and I'm so motivated to work for my dreams, to hustle, you know. It's really the dream. I love New York so much. And what other potential questions could people have? Like if you were watching me, what would you want to know?
Can we stay at your place?
In Paris? No. No, I mean, I'm having friends, you know, even now that we're traveling so much, I always have friends stay there. And I love the idea, like in my head, I just love to be a good host, to have friends stay at my places when I'm not there. Love that.
Maybe people just ask what they want to know in the comments.
Let's do that. All right, guys, I love you. I promise more videos. I just need to find my creative voice. Okay? Bye!
Bye! See you in New York!